Welcome everyone. I am Dr. Shambhu Yadav, a research scientist at Harvard Medical School. And today we are going to learn something super important. That is memory retention that help you truly absorb what you have learned, whether it's an exam or mastering a skill or just understanding something better in life. You know that the feeling when you study hard and forget it a later. Frustrating, right? And that's where understanding how memory works and how to make it work for you. And that can be a game changer. Memory is not just about memorizing. It's about the giving your brain the right tools to store, connect, and recall the information. And when you need it, it will retract. And think of it like building a library in your mind. If you organize the shelves properly, then visit them often, finding the right book becomes more easy. And in this video, I am here to share science-backed strategy that make remembering easier and then learning closer. Whether it's using smart techniques, tweaking your daily habits, or avoiding common pitfalls. There is so much you can do to improve your memory. And don't worry, this is not about the working harder, it's about the working smarter. And by the end, you will have the tools to keep more what you learn and retain longer. So let's dive in. You know, the memory is like a vast library in your mind. Every time you learn something new, your brain takes it through three key stages: the encoding, storage, and retrieve. Encoding is the first step where your brain processes and translates information into the format it can remember. It's like writing a book for your mental library. But just writing it isn't enough. You need to store it properly, and that's the second steps that is called storage. And this is where your brain keeps the information safe so you can find it later when you need it. And finally, there is called retrieval. And this is when you pull all the stored information back out while browsing a book from the library to read it again. You know, the memory is not just one big thing. It comes in three different types. The first, that is the short-term memory, which is handle the small bit of information for short while, like remembering a phone number just long enough to dial it. And the long-term memory is the more durable, which is where your brain keeps information, knowledge, like your favorite childhood stories or the subject you studied deeply. So there is also explicit memory, which is conscious and intentional. And another is implicit memory, which work behind the scene like muscles memory. So understanding how brain work is the first step to improving and making what you learn to stick for the long time. And the memory retention is influenced by the many factors, one of which we often overlook. So let's go one by one. The first, for example, sleep, which play a massive role. When you sleep, your brain consolidates what you have learned during the day. And it's like hitting the save button on a computer. Without enough sleep, it's harder to store and recall the information. Stress and anxiety, which is another big deal. And then when you are stressed, your brain gets overloaded, making it tough to focus and retain what you have studied and what you have learned. It's like trying to pour water into the full glass and it just split away. So what you eat and the drink also matter more than what you think. So balanced diet fuel your brain and staying hydrated keeps your mind sharp. And skipping meals or the eating junk food can leave you feeling sludging, which doesn't help when you are trying to learn something new. And then there is the issue of the focus, which is also very important. If your attention is scattered, your brain struggles to encode information properly. And you must heard about the multitasking. So the multitasking might feel productive, but it's actually a memory killer. Being fully present while the learning makes us all difference. And the lastly, physical activity that can't be ignored. So moving your body improve blood flow to the brain, enhancing memory. It does not have to be intense. A quick walk or some stretch can work wonder. And these little things add up, shaping how well you remember the things which you have learned. So the improving memory retention does not have to be a complicated. One of the best way to do this is by using active learning strategy. Or you can say spaced repetition is another game changer for the learning process. So it's all about the reviewing what you have learned at the interval and the gradually increase over time. And this technique help your brain solidify your information and make it harder to forget. Another great method is practice testing. Test yourself, quizzing yourself. Even if you don't feel ready, focus your brain to actively retrieve information, which strengthens your memory, strengthens your neuroplasticity, which is strengthening the connection of the multi-neuron together. And next is the mnemonic device are another fun and active tools. You can use acronym, rhythms, or the even create vivid mental image to associate with what you learn. And this trick make the information sticks because they engage your creativity and imagination. So chunking is also super helpful. The breaking information into the smaller manageable pieces can make even most complex topic less overwhelming. Have you heard of the famine techniques? It's where you teach what you have learned to someone else. And when you explain something simply, you quickly realize that you know and where you need to be clarity or more clarity. And these studies are not just about the memorizing, they help to truly understand the written what matter most. So try mixing and matching them to see what works best for you. And the lifestyle. So the lifestyle changes can make a huge difference in how well you remember things. So let's start with physical exercise. So moving your body is not just for your muscles or your building body. It's amazing for your brain as well. Like activity like walking, running, your yoga increase blood flow to your brain and improve memory. Plus they reduce stress, which is big bonus. Another game changer is meditation. So taking just a few minutes each day to practice mindfulness can help you focus better and clear mental cluster. It's like hitting the reset button for your brain. So the deep breathing or the simply sitting quietly can calm your mind and improve how you absorb and recall information. And the sleep, which I have mentioned before, the sleep is the unsung hero of memory retention. So while you are dreaming away, your brain is busy to consolidating what all stuffs you learned during the day. So try to stick with the regular sleep schedule. Trust me, those extra hours of rest can wonder your brain. And then lastly, don't underestimate the power of routine. That is also very important. Studying or learning at the same time every day can retain or train your brain to be ready and alert. So a small, consistent habit add up something new. And together, these all changes not only boost your memory, but also make learning feel more natural and enjoyable. And the technology that also can be a powerful ally in improving memory retention, but it's all about the using it right way. Like app, Anki or the Quizlet are the spaced repetition. They help you review the material at just the right interval, making it easier to transfer information into the long-term memory formation. Next is the digital note-taking tools like the Notion or Evernote, which are also super handy. They let you organize your thought, create summaries, and revisit key idea whenever you need or you recall it. But here is the things, like technology is double-edged sword. If you are not careful, it can become more of distraction than the tools. So too much screen time can lead to the mental fatigue and reduce your focus. So be aware of using the smartphone as a tools. And that's why it's the important to set boundaries. Use app that help you, but take regular break from the screen to let your brain process what you have learned already. Another trick is the tools that like a focus timer or productivity app that also stay on the track. Like the Pomodoro timers are great for the breaking your study session into the manageable chunk. So you can even use the voice memos or record quick summary or thoughts which comes in your mind or you have learned it. And the key is the balance. Let technology assist you, but don't let overwhelm you. And when you use wisely, it can make a huge difference in how much you remember and how effectively you learn the new things. Another trap is multitasking. You might think you are being a super productive by watching a lecture while scrolling through your social media, but you are actually dividing your attention, and your brain needs a focus to process and store information properly. So when you are studying, give it your full attention. And the cramming is another one way which we all fall for. It might work for the quick test, but it does not help you retain anything long term. You will forget most of it by the next day. So slow and steady wins here. Space out your learning over time. And finally, don't underestimate the power of rest. If you are skipping sleep or trying to study when you exhausted, your brain won't work as it should. So the sleep is when your brain organizes and store information. So if you are not sleeping, you are missing out on the crucial part of the process to learn. And avoiding this pitfall, and you will give your brain to much better chance to thrive. Now let me tell you about how this technique have worked for the real people. So a student who used the Feynman technique to master complex topic. One of the guy who grabbed the whiteboard and pretend to teach the material to the imaginary class. And if he got stuck or confused, he knew exactly what to review. So teaching forced him to break things down, and suddenly tough concept left simple. Let's quickly recap what we have already learned today. So memory retention is not just about the study harder, it's about the study smarter. And by understanding how memory works, you can make your learning stick. We have already talked about the spaced repetition, practice retrieval through testing, and the breaking information in smaller manageable chunks. And these all are simple changes, but they make a big difference in the learning and retain memories. So remember, your brain is like a muscles. It needs the right care to perform its best. Get enough sleep, stay active, and don't underestimate the power of mindfulness. So little habit like taking short break or staying hydrated can go a long way. And also try tools like the flashcard app or the digital notes to stay organized and consistent. And the most importantly, don't be afraid to try new techniques. Experiment, and experiment. See what works for you. Everyone's brain is like a unique, and what click for the one person might not work for the another. That's okay. The goal is to build a system that help you learn and retain information effectively. So what's your next step? Try one of these strategies today. Start small and stay consistent. And hey, if you found this informative or helpful, share it with your friend or someone who could use memory boost. So let's learn smarter and together. And thank you for the watching, and see you in the next video.